Get your legs back. Get them back! Hey, try to be nice to some people. Well, what do we have here, huh? Why would you be carrying a knife like this?
Hunting.
Don't be a wise guy. What do you hunt with a knife?
Maybe.
Hey guys, it's Blade Lore, and today I'm finally going to be doing a review on my custom First Blood Rambo knife project. Now, originally this was supposed to be the $10 Harbor Freight knife, but I kind of got lazy, kind of forgot about it, and I just kind of replaced it with a better, somewhat more accurate knife. The whole goal of this project is to make a Rambo knife that is as accurate as it can be to the film, but still not be as expensive as the like Hollywood collectibles knife, which is over $100. I hope to get it one day, but I don't have that kind of money to spend on a knife, so I'd rather go with the $60 Rothko Ramster, which is the base knife, and then on top of that, I spent like an additional 20, maybe 30 bucks to buy the Mossy Oak Bowie just so I can have a nice leather sheath. And then like $2 more at Hobby Lobby for the green paracord. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to stop talking now and let's just get to the review. So here's the knife. The sheath is from a Mossy Oak Bowie knife, one you can find on Amazon for like 20 bucks. And the knife itself is the Rothko Ramster, which is a budget-friendly version of the Buck 184 survival knife from the 80s. So I got this paracord at Hobby Lobby for around $2, and this is some leather wrapping I have just for movie accuracy, and I can also use it as a leg tie when I tie it back here. We might do more of that, but for now, here's the knife itself. Little snap up here. It took a while for this to stretch over to fit properly, but if you just stretch the leather, it'll work. And here's the knife. Not exactly accurate with the saw teeth, but it captures the look. The powder-coated gray blade, and unlike the official Rambo knives, this actually is good for work. I might show the anchor accessories that came with it. I don't really use that because this is meant to be a Rambo knife, not the Buck 184, but I might show that at the end of the video real quick. But for now, let's go do some tests, starting with a sharpness test. All right, so we got just a standard piece of printer paper. We have the knife. I'm gonna kind of move this leather stuff out of the way. I might just unwrap it completely for the next test. But sharpness. Pretty sharp. It's not like razor sharp, but it will get work done. So I guess I haven't really done tests like this, so I guess the next will be batoning, which I'll go ahead and get this leather off, and then I might show how the leg tie works at the end. So batoning. All right, so I have the little baton here. I have just a standard piece of firewood. It's wet, so I don't know how well it's gonna do, but let's just start. Now, typically, these knives aren't meant for batoning, but it's a survival knife, so look at that. It batons, and it sticks. This ain't your dad's cheap 80s survival knife, no. I'm really proud of it. So, I don't know really what else to test it on. Maybe balance, so we might do that. Yeah, let's do that right now. Also just showing you, there's no blade play or nothing from the batoning. It's solid, and that's actually because once you unscrew the handle and take out the survival kit, we'll get into that later. I don't know if you can see, but it's not just screwed in like most knives. There's resin in there that kind of helps keep it more intact when facing harder tasks. Now again, I wouldn't recommend batoning with a hollow handle. That was just to show you durability. I'm actually shocked it did as good as it did, but I'd always recommend a full tang knife when doing stuff like that. But this, for a hollow handle, I am pleased and surprised. So yeah, on to the next stuff. So I have the knife tied up, kind of, you just tie that back there and then you wrap it around your leg. So yeah, let's do that. All right, so here's the leg tie. I don't know if you can see it. It ties over the knife under my leg, so that way it keeps it from flopping around. So overall, for a slightly cheaper alternative, I think the total with having to buy the mossy oak knife for the sheath and this, it was around 90 bucks, which is still cheaper than the official First Blood knife. Is it accurate like the official one? No. But is it actually meant for use? Absolutely. I would 100% recommend this knife to anyone who likes the Rambo movies, the hollow handle knives. Now, it doesn't come with the paracord or the sheath. It comes with a black sheath. I'll show y'all what it originally came with in a minute. But, you know, this is a, compared to Rambo knives, this is a pretty cheap project. And you actually get a quality knife out of it. So I don't know what else to say for this part, so I guess we'll just move on to how the knife originally came. So the knife originally did not come with this green paracord. Again, I got this at Hobby Lobby for like $2, 500 feet. I didn't use all the 500 feet, I just kind of wrapped it around and cut it off and glued it and also burnt it at the end. But yeah, I'll pull up a picture of how the knife originally looks when you get it. The box, this is the box, the Ramster, and the sheath, you kind of see right here. The Harbor Freight Rambo knife is in there right now, and it actually comes with 2 pouches. This is just the one I have for this knife, but this pouch is separate because this is where I keep the anchors. So I'm going to do that real quick. It's actually really easy. And then I guess I'll talk a little bit about the survival kit I put in here, and that'll be it. So I took the survival kit out. You just kind of screw these on here. This actually came stuck to this. You just have to remove this washer, which is really hard. I had like a little Victorinox screwdriver bit, kind of helped me stretch it out and put it back in, so that I can now just have it more movie accurate, which is without this. I didn't put a compass in, and that's because, one, I don't really know how to use a compass. I know the knife guy who likes survival knives doesn't know how to use a compass. I have a slight idea on how to use one, but most of the compasses that would fit in here are really cheap too. This thing's heavy as is already, like, so if anything, I'd rather just use it as a hammer without wanting to mess up the compass. Again, I don't know how fragile compasses are. I don't really use them much, but yeah, I don't have a compass in here. So, yeah, not too accurate. You can put a compass in here if you want. I just choose not to, personal preference. But basically you take this, you slide it on there, and then you screw it in. So I'll be back. So here's the knife, kind of how it originally came, without the black sheath. I chose to do a leather sheath besides film accuracy because the black sheath kind of would rub off the plastic. The black plastic from the sheath would rub off and kind of make this look ugly, and it also kind of messed up the edge a little bit, at least from my copy. Maybe I have a defect. But yeah, this is cool. I like this. But the survival kit, we'll get into that in a minute. I don't really know what else to say, so I guess we can, yeah, get into that now. So I don't really want to take the survival kit out because it's a lot to pack in, but what I basically did was I took all the fish hooks and fishing stuff that originally came with this knife, kept that, took some matches, threw that in there. I think I put 12 in there. The match striker from the Rambo 2 knife. I think I have a little like cotton pad in there for fire, and then I wrapped the whole thing around in twine just to use again for fire and all that. You can see I kind of burnt it there so it wouldn't go free, and then I added a rubber band because why not. But yeah, this capsule is actually from the Rambo 2 survival knife, and you just kind of keep it in there. And since it's really the twine in there is kind of thick. It doesn't rattle around. So it takes a little bit to get out, but then sometimes if you do, it slides in. And actually now this would be perfect to kind of show you. There's the resin that's keeping the knife intact. So overall, I guess, yeah, I like this knife. I'm really happy with the project and how it came out. So I guess the last thing to do would be to compare it to my other Rambo knives, starting with the Harbor Freight one, the original knife that was supposed to be reviewed. So here is the Ramster next to the Harbor Freight knife. This one definitely has a more accurate kind of blade. This one's probably more size accurate. But yeah, I might review this one if you guys want me to. As you can see, it's a little beat up. I have used it and abused it, and it's held up pretty well, especially for a cheap $10 knife. I'm really proud of it. So I don't really know. Again, these things aren't scripted. I didn't script this, but yeah, I guess we'll just kind of have an ugly transition into the next knife to compare, which is the Rambo 2 knife. So here's the Rambo 2 knife with the Rambo 1 knife. My original review, I kept everything. I didn't modify anything, but later afterward, I added this little leather thing just for more accuracy. I don't think it was leather in the movie, but probably if it was, better quality than what I have. So yeah, it is accurate though. The Rambo 2 knife was significantly larger than the First Blood knife, but the First Blood knife is always my favorite Rambo knife out of all the movies. Comment down below what your favorite Rambo knife is, and I guess the last kind of Rambo knife I can compare this to is my Camillus Tactical Bowie. So here it is next to the Camillus. The size is pretty similar. I think the blade length is, I think the Camillus is slightly longer than the Ramster. But yeah, I like them both. This was one of my first Rambo style knives when I was able to only afford cheap Walmart knives. But I mean, I like this knife. It also left a pretty good dent in my finger. So maybe I'll tell this story some other day when I review this. But you know, that's the last Rambo knife I can compare this to, but I might compare it to other knives. Because since this is based off the Buck 184, and apparently the Buck 184 was designed by Navy SEALs, I'm going to pull out a SEAL knife. I'm going to pull out the SOG SEAL Pup, so I'll be right back. So just for the heck of it, here it is next to the SOG SEAL Pup. This knife is definitely better quality than this one, but I'm proud of this still. I would use this camping, and I think this knife is 60 bucks. This knife is also 60 bucks, so around the same price. They're both made in Taiwan, except this is Oz 8 steel. This is just stainless Taiwan steel. I wonder what the box says. I don't think it says anything on the steel. So, yeah. I guess I'll just compare to one more knife, which would be my Gerber survival knife, because this is the newest survival knife I got, and this is the very first survival knife I got. So, yeah. So here it is next to the Gerber. This was my very first survival knife and fixed blade I ever got. And this was around the time I was really into the Rambo knife, so my dad picked this up for me. And man, I love it. I still love it to this day. I have a lot of good memories with it. You can see it's very beat up. I tried putting a new edge on it recently. The tip is still broken. It's got a nasty mark somewhere. I don't think it can pick up on camera, but I love this knife. But I guess this will be my new go-to camping knife for now. I mean, I get so many of these things like every year. It's not even funny. Frankly, it's an addiction, but hey, it's a knife YouTube channel, so we're going to have a bunch of knives. So with that, I guess this is the end of the review. I'm Blade Lore. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.